Hello everyone, it is that time again here for Spiritual Chat Stew, and before we get going, we actually have a couple people that we'd like to introduce. So Anna?
Alright, so first of all we have Robert, who came up and met us last week, got some crystals, and this is his beautiful sister Becca, who also met us last week. She's got kids running around here somewhere, but we've got them scampered off for just a few minutes while we record this. Alright, honey.
Alright. So last week we had a special guest, and that was Cameron. And one of the things that we were talking about, and
that brought him to us.
Yeah, that brought him to us, but we didn't have a chance because we ran out of time to come back and talk about it, and that is synchronicities. So actually, Becca and her family is here for the same reason. So let's talk about synchronicities.
Yeah, will you tell us first of all a little bit about your experience with synchronicities and even this week, maybe some.
Well, I don't know much of synchronicity, but I do know that you were with me on Tuesday. I don't know how, but I know that things don't just happen for no reason. Everything happens for a reason. You meet the people that you meet for either good or bad. You know, it's all about learning and what you take from that. So last week, we were here. My brother brought us over to your blanket, and I felt my son Robert, he's about 9 years old. We've been dealing with about 4 years of hardship and a breakup in marriage and all these things. And I felt like his spirit was falling just as fast and just as hard and just as hurt as mine. So last week, his little sister popped his balloon, you know, and that's
on camera too.
Yeah. And so I tried to get her to stop. He tried to get her to stop. And, you know, we know she's this way, and there's nothing we can do about it. We can't harness that negativity. And so my spirit wasn't that strong at the time, so we both fell, but we both came back up together. And I don't
what
know
kind of stone did he pick? Do you remember?
He was a tiger's eye,
which is helping him feel a sense of courage, which is so exciting. He brought it up again today.
Yeah.
Very happy.
Definitely. And I don't know, I don't think I would have been able to have that strength later on in the week had it not been for meeting you guys on
Thank
Sunday.
you. And what happened on Tuesday?
Oh, I was having an emotional breakdown. Like I just got locked up, and I have to deal with my warrants and all that stuff, and I had to do the paperwork for AP&P, and like I got ran into like a circle, and I'm like, I was frustrated. I suffered from anxiety. That's why I've medicated. And so I was really having problems, and I lost some paperwork, and I was going through my paperwork, and for some reason your card popped up. You only gave me one card, okay? But then I kept going through my papers, and I kept, thinking that, and then I was going through my papers, and I saw another card of yours. For some reason, two of your cards came up in my mess of paperwork, and I was like, okay.
Manifesting cards.
Right? And I was like, okay, so calm down. And because of that, you didn't make me, but you created something inside me that made me stop and say, okay, go back to the beginning of the circle. Start over. Find out where you messed up. And
that's great.
I was able to handle some of the stuff, and I had to come and see you guys. I looked you up on Facebook, and I saw that it was 444 last week, and then it's 333 this week, and that's my number. And so
it's a huge synchronicity.
It is.
I want to point out that when she says I was with her on Tuesday, she was talking about in spirit this is us really getting to know each other for the first time.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
So let me ask you a question. When you say that Anna was with you on Tuesday, in what manner? How did you feel that?
333 on the camera.
Oh wow. I don't know if she tried on Tuesday to be there with me.
I'm wearing the ring you gave me last week.
But I felt an ease, a calm, a memory of Sunday when I was catching my kid falling. We both fell.
It's a frequency. You caught an essence of a frequency. That, oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
Like I don't know if I would have been able to be strong enough to catch my kid. But us both falling together and coming back up together made me know that there is really such thing as like I don't know, the law of attraction.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely.
And you
good
have a
feelings.
tribe now, just so you know.
I
You
do.
do have a tribe now. Even when I can't be there, I will.
You were.
We will try to be there in
Yeah.
in the ways that we can be there to help bring some light to your
Yeah.
day and to your life.
And what was it that you said to me as I walked off last Sunday? I don't remember what it was. Come back again next week, and I said,
Oh yes,
I will.
I was so excited.
I said I will, and I haven't been one to keep my word with little things like that, but it was a big thing for me at that
That's
moment.
awesome.
And Tuesday it
Big thing
came
for
back to
too.
me.
I
and-
was so excited when
Yeah.
I saw you walking up.
yeah, today.
Yes, just barely. I was so
I saw your smile,
excited.
and yeah.
Yes, and she was walking up with her kids. They're, like I said, they're distracted right now. They're walking our dog with with their dad. So I do want to actually get to the point now of synchronicities. Thank you so much,
Yes,
not
no,
just for
thank
being
you.
here, but for being willing to share that.
Thank you for
It's a really
having
big,
the light that's
it's
in
a really
you.
big step for her. She's
Right.
very nervous when I take her to Reiki or Diksha.
I'm very agoraphobic.
I'm very excited to. This is the beginning of a journey. I hope
Very.
you guys know.
And
And I
11,
can-
11,
and
and
I'll-
11, 11,
yes.
11, 11. It's all
Speaking of
around me.
1111, that is a big synchronicity. So we're going to talk about synchronicities. Synchronicities are those things where when you're thinking about someone you haven't thought about since childhood and then you suddenly run into them at the grocery store. Or you're thinking about one of your favorite songs from 5 years ago and then it suddenly comes on while you're walking at the mall. Or one of the most common ways to experience synchronicities is through number patterns. So I'd say probably the most common one in the world is 1111. A lot of people notice it all the time and they don't really realize why they're noticing it all the time. Triple combinations, quadruple combinations, and higher obviously kind of draw our attention. 333, 444, 777, 999. 999 is actually the day that we experienced our first kiss because 2016 is a 9 when it breaks down. So 9/9/2016. So we have these synchronicities that happen in our life, and sometimes it feels a little deja vu-y. There's kind of an energetic experience that happens. Quick side note, most of the time, most of the subjects that I'm going to talk about are going to be things that I can prove scientifically. You're more than welcome to ask me more information about crystals or light, things like that. Most of these things can be proven scientifically. If you need a scientific explanation for things, this is probably not the recording for you to listen to. This is going to be an esoteric explanation of synchronicities because there is no scientific explanation for why we experience synchronicities that can be proven yet. There is an esoteric explanation that I'd like to invite you to see if it resonates with you on a spiritual level. And are you comfortable with that?
Sure.
Are you comfortable with this being our topic today, Robert? Awesome.
You
So,
can ask me.
I'm sorry, honey. Are you comfortable with us talking about synchronicities today?
Perfect.
Okay, perfect.
Good idea.
Awesome. Okay, so synchronicities are, as we discussed, they're kind of when you have those moments where something repeats itself or something comes up that you were thinking about earlier, and you kind of have this energetic feeling that happens that is like, woo, like an energetic wobble almost. Sometimes people compare it to deja vu. But really what that is just like a standout moment for you, whether it's just that you saw 1111, whether it has to do with a certain song, whether it's just a feeling that comes over you and you're not entirely sure why that feeling just came by, but just it's a standout moment. Well, these, from an esoteric standpoint, and there's a lot of different religious or spiritual, of course there's a dragonfly. There's a lot of religious or esoteric teachings that would suggest that this is pre-planned coding for us, that we have, while there's free will involved in our lives, and we really do make a decision every single day, we also had free will to come here, which means that we had certain things that we might have planned for ourselves in advance, experiences that might improve our level of empathy for other human beings, things that might not look the prettiest on the outside, but they made us stronger and better and more loving and more empathetic individuals on the inside. Okay, so we all have a plan, and we might not know why we planned the plan, but at some point we start to notice all of these synchronicities happening. And when these synchronicities happen, it might feel a little weird and wobbly at first, but as you start to find yourself stumbling upon a spiritual conversation that has the potential to change your path, or when you're stumbling upon someone who might help you fight for your kid in a certain situation, or someone who, you know, you have these life-changing moments that you kind of stumble upon.
My brother made me stumble upon it last
And
Sunday.
he literally stumbled upon it first. I mean, we
And he brought me
stopped
to it.
him. And he brought you back because it was a profound experience for him. I want to ask you, Robert, do you think there's any possible chance that you planned that experience? You can say no, you don't have to say yes, but do you think there's any possibility that you pre-planned that experience?
Well, I mean, the I part of it's kind of irrelevant.
Do you believe it was pre-planned in some way, shape, or form? And so, do you believe, based on the things that are going on in your life and the kind of love and light you need in your life right now?
I needed you. Yeah. Well, maybe not you specifically,
know.
but I needed this. I needed.
Right.
And your friend, what was his name?
Colton.
Yeah.
Our beautiful friend Colton.
Colton. His knowing you. And I am too. And their lessons learned.
Just barely.
He was perfect. Yes, and you are too. And that is
My
what
own
we're
way.
not here.
And yeah, and my brother may not need
perfect.
those same things as I did, but he found you.
And well,
brought
that's
me
how
to
the path
you.
of least resistance works, and that's how the universe works. So the universe can't come to you and say, hey, you need to go see Anna, or you need to go see this person, or you need to go talk to this doctor, or you need to go to India in June. Because that takes free will away.
It does.
But what it can do is inspire you in certain directions through vibration, through synchronicities, through things that go, wait a second, that was something that you know, those kinds of synchronicities are markers that we provide to ourselves.
And
I
that's
didn't
why-
give you that marker. You didn't give yourself, or I mean, you gave yourself. I didn't give you that marker. You would have been.
Well, you gave me one card, and I picked up another card off the floor of my husband's car.
All right, so let me ask the question.
I had two.
What-
It took twice.
I know it took twice to see it,
It took
to
twice
resonate.
it took twice for your energy to resonate through me again.
And if it
keep my
takes
spirit
50 times, I'm here to tell you however many times.
Thank you for being there.
So let's ask the question, what is the purpose of synchronicities? And once we recognize that synchronicities are happening, what do we do about it?
This is the really exciting part. I don't know how much you guys know about neural pathways. Do you know anything about neural pathways? Robert, you do. Do you know? And I'm not surprised knowing what you know about light. So when we have neural pathways in our brain, and when we practice doing something over and over and over again, we create a really strong neural pathway. Okay, so say for example, we tell ourselves every day, I can't believe how weak I am. I can't believe how weak I am.
It just grows.
I'm
and grows,
so
that weakness
weak.
grows.
You believe it more. You prove it to yourself more.
Yeah.
I
You
believe the
create.
Buddhists call that habit energy.
Right. If you tell yourself all the time you're fat, I don't care how much you go to the gym. I don't care. You cannot get skinny.
Yeah.
Right.
You will never get skinny if you tell yourself all the time you're fat, no matter how much time you spend at the gym. And if you tell yourself you can't gain weight, I don't care how much you eat, you're going to end up not being able to gain weight. There's a certain level of creating a neural pathway for belief, okay? So these synchronicities come along and they start to kind of guide us and bumper pull us. I jokingly call it bumper pull because it's free will still. You can't force someone in a certain direction, but you can gently nudge them, nudge them in the right direction, okay? And when that happens and someone starts to listen to those synchronicities more and more and believe those synchronicities, they start to create a neural pathway for those synchronicities. And then that means more synchronicities come. And so you start to actually get really direct guidance as to what the right pathway for you is in life. And it's not a pathway that Anna determined. It's definitely not a pathway that he determined. It's not a pathway that anybody besides you, or possibly with co-creative say in the equation.
So the synchronicities are creating neural pathways in order to provide guidance?
Yeah, so that we can get more in touch with our own higher guidance. Because my higher guidance is going to guide me appropriately. It's always going to guide me for the higher good, because what's in my best good technically is what's in your best good is technically what's in your best good and everybody else's best good on a higher level.
The I is irrelevant.
Which exactly, it's we're We're unified. We are a unified species. We just
So
have really strong reasons to believe the illusion.
Right.
But we are unified. And so when I'm doing something that's best for me, my higher self is going to be giving me direct guidance. And the more in tune I get with that guidance, the more that guidance comes. And the more that guidance comes, the more in tune I get with that guidance. And as that happens over time, you get to where you are really feeling vibrationally aligned with your purpose. What you want to do here, what your best, strongest, most loving way of being human
Which
is.
takes an immense amount of trust.
It does.
Recently I read a book on trust, Mastering the Four Essentials: trust in self, trust in God, trust in others, and trust in life.
And it is.
In that order.
And trust in self is absolutely the most essential for the others to happen. So I'm really glad that you said that, Robert. Look, we've got our oh goodness, we've got Nala back, and we've got some friends that have come to join us. So yes, the trust in self is very, very deeply important. And as you start to release some of these fear-based codings, we get really effectively coded the way that we are. But as we start to release some of these fear-based codings, we learn to trust ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, that was one of my
Yourself as well.
biggest things when I first started on this path. Wasn't that I didn't know that I was supposed to be able to trust myself. I thought, how in God's name can I? I don't even know how to trust myself right now. And that was the starting point, was just kind of getting myself to a baseline of being able to trust myself. And that involves putting yourself around human beings who see how freaking incredible you are. Yes. So if it's not us, surround yourself by people who love you. Surround yourself by people who see the good in you. Recognize synchronicities, because the more that you recognize them, things that are those aha moments, the more that they will come. The more you honor them, the more you build a neural pathway for them. This is another friend. Want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm John.
This
The
is
third.
That's my husband.
John the Third, and he's joining us for our 333 days. Yes. So
One thing I've learned is I need to stop the negative self-talk. And as soon as I stop that, it's crazy. Nobody goes to jail and gets their job back and gets a raise, and all this is happening to me. I'm like, wow.
you do.
So,
And
do.
you can. It is a change of perspective. There's not, when I talk about Colton, I will always talk about Colton. He will always inspire me. He will always be part of why this got kicked off to begin with. But one of the things that I would always try to tell him, thank you. One of the things I would always try to tell him is that a reformed man can reform thousands. Yogananda said this. You learn more, you're more inspired by the changes of someone who has built themselves back up from something difficult. And he had a very difficult path. I don't know anyone who hasn't. Every single one of us have an inspiring story. I have yet to meet anyone who doesn't have things that they... I have a lot of people who believe they haven't made very many mistakes, and that's probably not very accurate, but we've all made a lot of mistakes. We're all worthy of love. We're all worthy of forgiving ourselves, no
Yes,
matter the
that's hard.
age. I don't care if you're 5 years old, or if you're 85 years old, or if you're 50 years old, or if you're 31 years old. There's never a time that you can't choose to be the best version of yourself that you know how to be, and to be a better version tomorrow. And one of the best ways to do that is to start following the synchronicities in your life, because they are divinely guided by your own higher self. Your own. It's not hers that's going to try to tell me how to live my life. I might be able to help her learn how to trust hers a little bit more. But ultimately, once that happens, she's not going to need me. She's going to need herself. She's going to need... So you don't ever need me, but she's not going to need anyone to help her once she learns to trust herself, because she's divinely guided. He's divinely guided. I know for sure these three, I don't know where Robert is. Oh, there he is. He's laying back there. The children, they are divinely guided. We're all children. Those ones just haven't been miscoded quite as much as us. I'm a children. I am a children. I'm the funnest children I know. I'm the funnest child. Just kidding. But I am very fun, and I have a feeling we're going to have a lot more fun in the future. Long story short, pay attention to the synchronicities. Listen to them. They will help you to create a neural pathway to be the best version of yourself, where you're going to be on your soul's purpose, whatever is going to make you feel best in this life. That's where they are guiding you. And I guess the last thing I want to ask, because this is always important, is Is this something that resonates with you?
Absolutely, yeah.
And is this something that
Completely.
resonates with you? Does synchronicities being a way that you have kind of guided yourself? I know you're kind of coming into this. Does that resonate with you?
100%.
I ask you to check and see if it resonates with you, and also research this. I didn't come up with it out of nowhere. So anyway, I love you all. I hope you have a wonderful day.
All right, love and light.
Kiss me, babe. Like. Bye.